guarding the Republic through reason, history, and honest conversation, where duty meets discourse and liberty finds its voice. Together we stand watch as citizens, freelanders, and centenniers, the defenders and guardians of liberty, freedom, and the Republic itself. So grab your favorite adult beverage and join me at the Sentinel Republic.
Oh, bartender, that'll be a double shot of your very best watered down gin right here.
Hello, and welcome back to the Sentinel Republic. We're partying hardy, rocking and rolling, and having more fun than human beings should be allowed to have. And today I wanted to provide an update to you. I know I've been off. I didn't do a video last week. I've been a little under the weather. I was actually in the hospital last Friday. But I won't get into that right now. Just been struggling with some health things. I've lost probably about 80 pounds since Memorial Day anyway. But I do have good news. I did approve my proof for my Sentinel Republic first book, and it should be available here to buy on Amazon here shortly. That's the good news. I know they're publishing now. I know with holiday and Thanksgiving and all that stuff, things might be a little bit back there, but I know they're printing and they're publishing as hopefully as we speak. So as soon as I see it up, I will post it up, and I will let you know. I'll know here. I guess the topic I wanted to talk about today is something that's been on my mind for a long time, and that is minimum wage and living wage. It all sounds really good, doesn't it? Gotta put, should be a base standard, and what people should be getting, and, $7 an hour, $10 an hour, $14 an hour, $20 an hour. We have a federal minimum wage, as you know. I'm not even sure what it is right now because I really don't care about it, the amount. And I'll tell you why. Because like I say, you try to look at both sides. I mean, it sounds great. Yep, we want to have, basic standard, which people can survive on. And always that sounds well and good. And then you get into the argument of what is the right minimum wage? So let's say who sits down and decides that? Let's say, oh, well, it should be $14.65. That's basic, and that's about the average income. That gets people out of poverty. But what it does, unfortunately, of course, it puts a burden on employers that makes them, you have to pay certain people a certain amount. So they don't think about the negative side effects of all that. And so what a lot of people, and especially employers, do is then they skirt the system themselves. Is it legal? Is it not? Doesn't matter. But they'll hire, undocumented workers at a lower wage, paying them whatever they will pay, and that gives into the argument of immigration. But we won't go into that at this point because but we're just going to focus on the one topic here. But the argument I've always made with minimum wage is, and the same thing with living wage, because they're pretty much practically the same thing. Yeah, living wage pays people that don't even work, obviously, which is its own self is a really rotten and a pointless argument, in my opinion. I mean, I see the positives in it. I mean, I see why, and I understand the argument why people would want to do such thing. But when it comes down to it, let's say minimum wage. Let's focus on that part here right now. Let's say we make the minimum wage $20 an hour. Oh yeah, that sounds great. That's going to get people out of poverty. That's going to sound great. That's going to do things, and it's emotionally great. Oh yeah, that's awesome. We're going to help all these people struggling at those jobs at McDonald's, struggling at those jobs at Walmart that don't get enough money, especially in certain areas. Some places cost more to live, especially here in like Colorado and some places, and New York and California, and those are a lot of that's taxes too. We won't go into that part, but right now, but at the same time, yeah, let's raise wages. Government loves it. You got to realize this. The federal government and all these politicians, I shouldn't say federal government, but politicians in general love minimum wage, guys. They love it. It's the best thing to them. Why? Because We raise the rate. What happens? Income tax. More revenue for the government. Ah, love it. Gotta love it. So we got to raise that minimum wage, gets more money for the government, gets more programs for people. Of course, they know the side effects. Politicians, they're not stupid. They know. They know exactly what they're doing. They raise the minimum wage, but they got you convinced. They got that emotion hook. They got you hooked with that emotion. God, let's get it up. Let's get it up. We get people out of this poverty. What does it do? It causes poverty. You can argue it all you want, but it causes poverty itself. It causes division too. Because what happens when you raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour at a McDonald's job, a Walmart job? Well, are you going to make it 20? Are you going to raise the rate for our public service people, fire department, military? So then we have to raise their wages, right? When we have to raise wages at, factories and production places, and we have to raise the rates everywhere. And then the rates just keep going up. You can make it $1 million. And it devalues everything. Then next thing you know, when you go buy a movie at the Walmart, next thing you know, it's $35 an hour for a disc. It just keeps going up. Same thing when you go out to eat. Instead of paying $60 an hour, $1 for a meal, then you're gonna for a couple people, you're gonna be paying $100. Then it's gonna be $120. Then it's gonna be $140. Where does it stop? It actually makes it worse, because now you're paying more money to the government. You're losing money. That's what you don't understand. You lose money when you raise the minimum wage. And then to go even further, why does the federal government have a minimum wage anyway? Let's say it's $7 an hour, whatever it is now. That's general, whatever you want to say, the world. But why is the federal government, why is it their business? Why do they even have a department? Why are they wasting any time, money, or effort on such topic? That's where people need to be critically thinking about why they're doing it. They do it to get more money and taxes and more control over you. And I'm sure there's other people that talk about this stuff. I really don't. I know people that are against it, and I've heard, speeches on it, but I don't go seeking out YouTube videos and see who else is yabbering about it. But it really frustrates me because the logic is just plain and simple. It's right there. And I'm not uncompassionate to people that don't make enough money, but at the same time, you got to realize inflation builds onto minimum wage. It's a stepping stone. They're all working together, and politicians know this. The government knows this. They're slowly eroding our republic into a tyranny that's going to totally. You will have no freedom. We already have lost most of our freedoms, and most people don't even realize it at this point. With the 17th Amendment, just go back to the 17th Amendment where you start seeing the erosion, all these social policies, Social Security, Medicare, and all this stuff. Why? And taxes. They have their hands in every single pocket of you. And you can have pockets here, cargo pants, they're in every single pocket. You got excise tax, you got all this. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. And I have chapters in that in my book about how we need to fix our tax system. And there's only one solution, and it's very clear of what we can do to simplify our tax system, to make it transparent, to make it easy, to eliminate the IRS, to eliminate property tax, to eliminate all these taxes that they steal from you, and you don't realize it. Oh, I'm only paying 35% tax. No, you're not. Look at your state tax. I know some states don't have taxes. Yeah, I understand. Income tax. I'm not talking just about income tax. I'm talking about excise tax. I'm talking about fees and these fees that are taxes. They know they're taxes. They know how to change the wording and to make it, appeal to you and disguise it and you sit down, you start calculating. I run some numbers through. It's like 60% we're paying in taxes, not the 30% just to the Fed. And I understand states have their own thing, but we're so bloated in a government that has control over all our finances that we do not realize that we have no freedom at this point. And it's eroding quickly. More taxes. And then I see, oh, every year we got to vote more taxes. We got to raise property tax. Got to end Tabor. We got to end all this stuff. More money for the government. We got it. We got to sustain. We got to sustain. We got to help everybody. And I want to help people. We got to help ourselves first, in a sense. I'm not talking about people in general. I'm just talking ourselves. We got to financially get stable. I want to help other countries. I want to help other people. I want to help all this stuff. But we got to get out of this debt. We can't just keep running up a credit card bill like we're doing. We've got to get out of this debt. We got to end this stuff. I mean, is it going to be hard? It's going to be hard. Is it hard for us to pay off a credit card? Think about that. Is it hard for you to, when you run up a debt, when you get in an emergency situation? It's hard to pay that off because you're paying interest. And that's what we're paying more. Our interest is going to supersede our military budget. Our Social Security and all that stuff. Social Security is unsustainable. I paid into all my life too. And I'm 46 now. And I don't want to take it from people. People relied on now. We have to grandfather it into people that have already paid in. I understand that. But we have to get away from these socialized programs that are rotting and eating our country up and destroying the republic, causing division, breaking us apart. It's unsustainable. And you can argue it all you want. We can't afford the taxes to pay for it. You're going to end up paying 80% in taxes, then 90%. And then we might as well go to socialism because, and what is that going to lead? That has tyranny. That is tyranny. You own nothing. The government owns you. It owns everything. You have to work hard for what you get. And I know it's hard. I worked hard. Everyone's worked hard. You have to save, you have to budget, you have to work hard on all that stuff, and it's hard. And I wish it wasn't, but it is, and that's the way of life. But you have to work for what you get. Unfortunately, some people turn to crime, and people turn to the sins and roll on and do things to people, but they don't consider other people. It's the same people that want minimum wage, that want this stuff. It's easy. They love socialism. They love progressivism and all this other stuff that they want to push through. And I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. And it's always going to be, and it always is. And there's no way to eliminate that. Even in my Sentinel Republic, I'm not obtuse to the fact that the Sentinel Republic would be the solution to every single problem, because that can't happen, because we are human. We are a caring human being. I think the United States is one of the most compassionate and charitable countries that has ever existed, but we're getting to a point where no one wants to donate because all these taxes, you have to take care of yourself. We got all this stuff. This government keeps taking your money. It causes less charitable. But what are they doing? They're becoming the charity. But what's the government? They're all corrupt. They're corrupted actors. We tip here in this country. A lot of countries don't tip. We're one of the few countries that actually tip people like that. That's what I say. We're charitable. We give. We recognize good work. We recognize people. We try to help out. And I'm not talking about everyone. There's always exceptions to the rule. I know some people that were cheapskates and everything else, and there's those people out there. That's on them. That's between them and God when that time comes, and that's up to them. That's up to there. I'm not going to judge them. It's not me. It's not my job to judge people. But when it comes down to it, you have to make those calls yourself. I do want to see us come together, and minimum wage and living wage is not a solution to any problem. Socialism is not a solution to the problem. We must become independent of and separate ourselves from this government. And the government needs to get under control and bring back the checks and balances that kept it in control. And it's not meant to be passing every single law, getting into our lives. I'm a non-smoker, always have been. I don't believe, it irritates me, it bothers me, it really does. But at the same time, government should not be in telling bars which bars they couldn't smoke in. Let people make those choices. That's on them if it becomes health things. Oh, well, we got to have the government in here trying to maintain. No, we don't, because that takes your freedom away. You know, I mean, you get let them keep getting into everything, and then they own you. They own us, and you can't get away. And that's not the American way. We're built on liberty and freedom, not tyranny and government. That's why the founders created all these balances to keep us out of this and the filibuster and all this crap. Yeah, we're not supposed to be a 50-50 society. We're supposed to make gradual little changes to try to fix things. And that's where the 17th Amendment broke down. Oregon didn't want to send their legislature. So, what do we got to do? We got to make it, we got to make it to the people instead of legislature because of a state, because they don't want to do this, and other little allegations of buying and stuff. Instead of just building it up. Maybe the governor can be the tiebreaker. Maybe something else. We could easily fix the problem instead of causing this rot, but that's not what they want to do. They're progressives. And they're dangerous. It is danger to this society, and it is to our republic. And we got to restore our checks. We got to restore our balances. We got to stop this pendulum. And I'm not saying Republicans or the right wing are innocent either, because they are behind it too. They work together. They know they do. You can see this in some of these, and after some of these meetings and summaries. I watch the congressional testimonies. I see these meetings and tax meetings. I know these people. They get up there and they talk a big thing, but then after they're all chummy chum chum. They all work together. That's why they can't ever get enough of them on the same team to even go on it. And it's both sides. But it's mostly one side that is more united than the other. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. We shouldn't be having sides. We should be presenting ideas and debating the ideas instead of talking points of each side. You got to work out of this. You got to look at both sides. You got to see the difference between each side. I understand both sides. I want to. And if I don't understand something, I go read about it. I don't care if it's stuff I disagree with. I got to know about it because I got to make these informed decisions. There's, like in my book, I talk about the burning of the American flag. I am very adamant that should be a crime personally. But under the current Constitution, I understand why we need to have a freedom of protest. At the same time, it has to be done civilly. It has to be done without division. And it's hard. Those are hard conversations we must have. But we have to somehow come up with a way to start talking about them again without causing these arguments and dismissiveness. I've got my mind set up, and most people do. That's the thing people don't realize is most people have their mind made up, and you can present them with all the evidence you want, and they're never going to change their mind. You can argue till you're blue in the face. It actually hurts your cause. These protesters, a lot of protesters out there that sit in the streets and all that stuff, it hurts your cause. It hurts your cause because you are not solving the problem. Screaming and pissing people off in the middle of the street is not solving your problem, and it never will. It makes it worse. But you've been so convinced and brainwashed by people with hate that you can't get out of it. Republicans are the same. Right wing's the same. There's people on both extremes that are doing the same thing. You get so wrapped up in hate. Hate for Biden, hate for Obama, hate for Bush, hate for Trump. You get so wrapped up in the hate that you just focus on just that hatred, and you can't get past any of the things that are going on around you. And it's tragic. And it's unfortunate because it brings your family down, it brings your friends down, it brings everyone down. You got to learn how to channel the hate and find it a release of some kind. And you got to get out of it, because we have to be able to get back to civil discourse and be able to conversate with each other again and bring back trust with each other. Because we used to be a very trusting society. We'd go help anybody that was in need. I'd walk by and help out my neighbor. Oh, he's trying to get that couch over. You run over and help him. But now you just don't know. And a lot of that's media focused too. But they post everything that's negative on the news, and all these little minor I wouldn't even say minor. I mean, they're major for the people involved, yes, but they put it out there and they bring it up, and they bring racism in it. They bring bigotry into it. They bring all these things into it. It was an asshole that did something wrong. That's between him and God, and his crime and everything else, and that's on him. It's not a reflection of society, folks. Our society is one of the most charitable, greatest societies, the American culture. And I don't use America in my terminology in my books and stuff, because I want to include other people. I want to include Australia someday, maybe a UK someday. I mean, I want to include other countries in the world that can join the Sentinel Republic. I want to see us come together and work together once again. I do see greatness in the future, but we are in a very inflection point of our civilization at this point. Can the United States come together and become united again? Not by a terrorist act in New York, not by a revolution, but a new idea of a new society and rebuilt society on our freedoms of our founders. And that's what I'm trying to build with my Sentinel Republic. And not a recreation of the Constitution, but an update, an enhancement of the Constitution. Reestablishing and building our safeguards and our Sentinel to protect us from out of control government, and uniting us under a reformed badge of our country. I want to see more stars. Alberta and Saskatchewan, maybe. There's a lot of stuff going on in Canada. And there's a lot of, it's over government, and that's where we're heading. Look at us in Canada. Canada's about 20 years, 30 years ahead of us where we are now. And we're on a track to catch them if we aren't careful in restoring our norms. I love our Canadian brothers up there, but we must, and I welcome them to our Sentinel Republic. And I'll talk about that in another video, because there's a lot of stuff. There's drafting going on of constitutions in Alberta and Saskatchewan. I do know of that. There's a lot of separatist movement up there, because they are being forced by Ottawa to do things that they can't afford to do that will crumble their provinces. And they would join us if we weren't so burdened with our government. They're probably scared seeing what's going on here. So I want you to take away from this that there is greatness in here. There is possibilities here. But I want you to think about our inflection point and where we are and what we need to do to fix it. And I'm trying to provide some solutions here. And I will try to talk about more of these in the videos, but as I say, minimum wage, living wage, might as well make it $1 million an hour, because it is pointless and a waste of time, and it only helps politicians and government corruption and bureaucracy. So take that away. Please leave a comment. I would love to see comments. Tell me what you think. And I do hope to catch you all in my next video. I do hope this hit home for some people. And thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure. Have a great day.